Hi, everybody. This is GM John Fedorowicz. Welcome to my May of 2017 monthly simul for ICC and SimulMaster simuls. We'll get started shortly. Looks like I was looking at the roster of opponents. Looks like we have a lot of newcomers today. So good luck to everybody, and I hope you have a good time. And we'll be starting momentarily. Um, I was following this Grand Prix tournament. It's kind of an interesting tournament in Moscow, but the usual complaint is too many draws. And but I don't think it's for lack of fighting, and I think they're just maybe it's a situation where they're all guarding their positions. But ears, I see. Welcome to the Simul, a good friend, Eternal Warrior. Hayen plays just about every month. Jester's play. We've played a lot. Jimmy B might be new. Kenesha feels like a new opponent. KM 1883. Maj 16 we've played before. Moving Dutchman. Mr. Neal. Nejmadinov. And 96T. So rolling through the openings, I'm playing white today. Last month I've done some simuls where I played the black pieces last month, and usually my simuls have been with pretty decent scores. Nothing. I don't think I've ever gone undefeated or anything. These simuls are usually pretty stiff challenges. Have any Ola? Looks like D4, D5. I'll play Queen's Gambits. Trivial Pursuit. Let's see what we're headed for there. And the summertime's coming. I'm heading to Chicago on Friday to do my usual commentary job at the Chicago Open. So for those of you that are there, come and see me. Hopefully Goichberg will have my little room ready to go. And usually it's a little room right next to the tournament director's room. Okay, Havaniola, we're in a Slav. And just play normal stuff there. Chamex, let's see if we get a King's Indian or some kind of Grunfeld, possibly Eternal Warrior. I had some. If you look at my games in the database, you'll see that I have played white and some Nimzo Indians, but I was scared off those double pawn positions when I was a kid. I saw some game. I hope Jim Torjan doesn't hear this, but I think he was black against Roman Gingiashvili and Hastings, and there were a few games that those double pawn positions, especially the blockade, just really scared me, and because of that, I always just play Queen's Indians and sometimes a Catalan too. Okay, Nejmadinov, let's see what's happening here. E4, E5. I'll play Knight F3. Borg Nagar has his beer ready. I'm glad to hear that. It's a little too early for me here in New York. It's only 2:04 p.m. So hopefully I'll have my beer ready sometime tonight. Let's see. We got Pasqualino. Let's see what sort of opening we get with him. Heading for maybe a triangle variation or something like that. KM 1883, maybe a Benoni. Maj, I'm going to do a Queen's Indian there also. Hayen's gone for a kind of a Stonewall Dutch setup. Jimmy B's played a Bogo. Ears, let's see what Ears does. I remember one time I gave Ears a hard time about playing some sort of unsound Duncan Suttles, Lawrence Day kind of Canadian Open, with some kind of modern defense. And then the last time I played Ears, he played very solidly and did pretty well. Shamanix, I'm going to do I think I'm going to play some sort of advance. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Havaniola has done this Chabanenko variation, and I'm going to try, I think I'm going to try C5 there. Pasqualino, maybe we're going to get into a Botvinnik. I'll go Bishop G5 there. Benoni for KM 1883. Let's see what type of Benoni. Brian Woods playing. Brian Woods has played a lot. Ears looks like a Queen's Indian, possibly. Jester's another Slav. Hayen is we're rolling through this pretty fast today. Nejmadinov has gone for the Latvian gambit. Nejmadinov, we've had some pretty interesting games, but his openings are well. I mean, what's a good word? I don't know. I could say maybe they're a little unsound. The Latvian gambit is not really one of the best things. Borgnar, another Slav, and Raster, a Bogo Indian. Maj, we're going to get into. I'm going to play the Petrosian variation in the Queen's Gambit. Exchange variation against Brian. Samish King's Indian. I'm playing a Samish against Shaman X. Also against Trivial Pursuit, I'll play 1-2. Pasqualino's going H6. Now if I go Bishop H4, he can go G5 and play that Moscow variation. But Bishop takes knight there, gets pretty decent positions for white, so I'll try that. Jester, we got another chance for a Botvinnik. Hayen, we're going through the openings. Okay, Kenesha, it went D4, D6. Then I played E4, and now knight F6. So we have a chance for a perk, or we have a chance for a Philidor. Grunfeld against No Mercy for you. And Havaniola, we're in this Chabanenko is what they call it when A6 is played in the Slav. Knight B, D7 from Shamanex. And I'm going to go Bishop to D3. Let's see what to do against Pasqualino. I'm just going to play E3 and get normal positions. Queen E7 from Raster, G3. Hayen has played Bishop to D6. And I'm going to just play Knight H3 and let him develop me. And a Dutch defense from Moving Dutchman. I guess that's no surprise. And Benoni, Bishop A6 from Maj, and I go Queen C2. That's a Petrosian variation of the Queen's Indian. That's A3, by the way. That has Petrosian's name on it. And looks like Kenesha, we're probably heading for a Philidor. And No Mercy for you. I'll play my pet variation. Looks like the Grunfeld. I'll play Queen B3. And Shamanex has gone E5. I'll play D5. We're in the Samish. Jimmy B. And rolling through the openings nicely here today. Hopefully try to avoid some time pressure. In a few of the simuls, I've gotten into time pressure, and time pressure just doesn't help anybody. Let's see, Pasqualino. I'm not sure if we played this specific one. We've played each other before, and I don't remember if we got. Looks like Ears has transposed the Queen's Indian type stuff by going D5, so now we can get like a classical variation. Mr. Neal is going for the Albin counter gambit. Shamanex has gone Rook E8. I'll just develop with Knight to E2. Borgar, I'm going to go Bishop G5. Also, hoping maybe for a hoping that maybe we can get into some kind of Botvinnik. All right, Havaniola's gone Knight H5. I will go Bishop back to D2. Hayen's gone Knight E4. I'll play F3 and get rid of his knight. Try and bolster my center. KM's going 1883. I'm just going to play Bishop D3 stuff in the Benoni. Let's see here. Bishop G4 from 9 A6. Let me see. Now I'm going to play H3 there. So that's in a Nimzovich type of thing. Borgnar's played the same thing. So we got the same game going on two boards. Bishop takes F6. Knight F8 from Shamanex. Now I have to see. I think I'm just going to cancel King's side and go slowly there, try and do something on the Queen's side. Typical kind of King's Indian. Maj has gone Bishop B7. I go Knight C3. Grunfeld, No Mercy for you. Just take on C3. Trivial Pursuit, same-ish, Bishop E3. And you know, talking about this Moscow Grand Prix with all the draws, I think they're fighting, but, you know, it's just we've had these complaints about chess from the beginning of time, and it's we try to figure out how to avoid draws and whatnot, and it's just not easy. Okay, Moving Dutchman's done a Dutch, but then he's fianchettoed, so I'm gonna counter fianchetto him on the King's side. And Borgnar's going Queen F6. I'll go E3. Bishop D7 from Shamanex, and I think I'm gonna just go on the Queen's side with pawn to B4 and C5. Jimmy B D6, I shall castle. And Kanishka, we're in that Philidor, typical Philidor stuff. Okay, now let me see what I'm doing here against 9-6T. Strange move order. I think I'll develop knight c3 and keep some options open. C4 from KM, and I'll go bishop back to C2. That's in the Benoni. Pawn takes C3 from Hayen. That's in that. It wasn't. He can play a better move order if he wants to get in the stone wall. He played D5 so early that I had the option of taking. If you look up in the database, I had a good game where I played white against New York master Boris Privman, and I won a pretty good game. H6 from Shamanex. I'm going to go on the queen side with C5, and knight HF6 from Havaniola. And now the question here is, how do I develop here? We went bishop f4, knight h5, bishop d2. Obviously, I do not want to do a draw by repetition. If I was playing in a tournament and my opponent was much higher rated, I might do it, but I'm not going to do it here. I think I'm going to try bishop to g5 actually and see if bishop g5 is of anything interesting. Maj has gone c5. That's in the Petrosian variation. I play e4, moving Dutchman. Let's see what happens there. Classical Queen's Gambit against Brian Wood. Against Kanisha, I'll play a4. That stops b5 ideas on his part. And now 9-6T has gone e5, and it's a new. I don't know. It's a different sort of position for me to play. Really, I'm thinking I should probably just go d5. I'm wondering if g4 does anything. Maybe jam up his pieces. I think I'm going to try g4 and see if anything interesting comes of that. Try to play sharp there. b5 from KM 1883, and he's threatening b4 to put pressure on my pawn. I think I'm just going to go a3 there and slow that down. And let's see what Shamax is up to here. I'm going to take queen d2 for free and attack his h6 pawn. Queen d2 from Hayen, overprotecting e3. And let's see what's going on with Mr. Neal in the Alban counter gambit, normal development. Jester's going g6 against me, which I don't know. It's kind of a controversial move if you think about it. I always tell my students, I tell them, you got a nice place for your bishop on e7 already. Why do you need to play h6? So I'm not really sure if that's a good idea for him there. I could come back to weaken his squares later. All right, I'm going to try d5 against 9-6T. Going to castle against moving Dutchman. Knight takes d4 normal against Maj. G5 from Shamanex. Now, I'm wondering about this position. I'm thinking of maybe locking the king side, although I don't know. I don't really have to. Maybe I'm going to try to use this f5 square. Also, h3 just is some interest. I'm thinking that g4 might be the right move for me there. And then I have to see. Then I have the f5 square, but he could have the f4 square. The big question is, I think I'm just going to ignore stuff and play rook on a to c1 and do my queen side business. Okay, looks like against Hayen, I'll just continue at rook a to e1. Nezhmadinov has gone queen to e7, and I'm just going to go d4. Knight g e2 against Brian Wood. That's the good thing about the move order, where white exchanges on d5 early, is that knight g e2 can be something to do. Pasqualino's gone g6, normal development for this opening. a5 from Kanisha, I go bishop to a2, pawn takes pawn against Shamanex. Still early in the opening. Okay. Now 9-6T has gone knight back to b8, so he's undeveloped. And now I want to see what is my story here for developing. I would think that I would like to castle queenside in this kind of position. Maybe his bishop could be in the way. So I'm gonna overprotect my e4 with knight to d2 and see what kind of maneuver comes out of that. Pasqualino. So we're in the up ears is going to be in an absolutely normal kind of Queen's Gambit. Rook C1 against Borgnar. And now what to do against Jimmy B here. Sometimes in this Bogo Indian with C5, you take on B4 and you play something like A3. In this position, I'm looking to see. Sometimes I can strand his bishop by just moving somewhere. And A3 really doesn't. A3 looks like a decent move for me. I'm going to try A3 and make him take on B2 on D2, and see how that goes. Okay, Heian has gone knight F6, and I'm going to play knight back to F2. Okay, now Jimmy B has exchanged on D2. What do I take with the queen? I think I'm going to take with the queen on D2 and put my knight on C3 and see how that one looks. Okay, 9-6 has redeveloped with knight to D7. And I'm thinking about queen to F3, maybe castle and queen side. We're going to see I'm going to keep these options open and see what's happening. Shamanex has gone queen to C8, and I'm trying to figure out how do I get through on the queen side and what's his idea with queen C8. I think I'm just going to take more space on the queen side with A4. Okay, knight B takes D2 against Raster. In that one, if I go queen takes D2, he has knight E4 followed by queen B4 check, and I get a little discombobulated, so I got to be careful about that. Pasqualino's castle. We're still in the open stages in all the games. Castles from No Mercy for You play E3. Havaniola's going H6. Now my bishop's moving all over the place in this game. Now if I go back to F4, I'm wondering if I can go back to H4 or not here. I'm gonna try bishop H4. Let's see how that goes. I don't know if we're in some new position or what here. Okay, now Kanishka has gone G5, and I'm gonna see, can I go pawn takes pawn or something? Let me do pawn takes pawn first. See if I could open them up. Okay, queen C7 from Heian. And now I'm going to see if I could open him up. I'm going to go bishop takes D6 and see if I could hit him. Okay, knight H4, knight H5 from Shamax looks like coming into F4. And how do I open him up here? And if he goes into F4, does it really bother me? I'm going to go pawn to A5 and continue on the queen's side. Rook to D8 from Pasqualino. I'm going to go bishop to A2. B6 from No Mercy for You. Good development, probably normal what he did, B6. And now moving Dutchman, I'm going to see, can I play some move that discombobulates him here a little bit? I'm going to try pawn to D5. That's like a typical thing to do in that opening. Try and kill his bishop and then see what happens. A queen trade offer from queen with queen to F6 against 9T6. And I think I'm just going to decline that and go queen to G3 and see if I could do something later on about his queen or maybe a pawn storm. Mr. Neal's gone, that's the Alban counter gamut. Mr. Neal's gone bishop E6. I'll go knight on B to D2, protect my C pawn. Jester's gone bishop G7. I'm going to develop with bishop D3. And now, Heian, can I crack him open with E4? I'm going to try. Let's see. Kanishka has gone D takes E5, and I'm going to go rook to D1. And bishop A6 from No Mercy for You. So, yeah, I'm going to take on A6. I think I'm surprised at that. I thought he was going to go bishop to B7. So, and now let's see what happens here with Shamax. Has put his knight into F4. And I'm thinking of just going bishop to C4 and getting out of the way of that. Okay, Jimmy B has gone E5, and I don't know if I go pawn takes E5 or something like that. Is he going to do some kind of E4? We may have. All of a sudden, this position looks sort of familiar to me. I don't know if I could do. I'm going to try pawn to D5 and see what happens with that. Maybe try to cramp him a little bit. No Mercy for You. I think I'm going to, let's see, I think I'm just going to castle and protect my center and see what happens with that. Pawn takes c4, bishop takes c4 from Jester. I'm going to go a3 against Mr. Neal and anticipating his castle and queen side, get a pawn storm going. Raster, I'm going to go e4. And Hayen has gone d takes e4, and I'm going to go knight takes e4. Ears is castle. I just go e3. We're in an orthodox kind of queen's gambit position. And it looks like, let's see, Jester's got a solid position. He's got to be careful my center doesn't come up at the right moment and really bother him. Okay, c5 from No Mercy for you. I'm just going to go rook to d1. And bishop back to e7 for Maj. I'm surprised at that move. Knight c6 is a normal move here. I don't know if Maj is getting the systems mixed up. Can I go e5 against Maj? What's happening if I go e5? e5, but then if I go f4, I don't know. Then he's got bishop h4 stuff, so I can't do that yet. So what should I do here? I'm thinking about. I'm looking at e5, but I can't go knight g4. I'm thinking about bishop f4, maybe to come out fast, maybe to cancel queenside sometimes. All right, I'm going to try bishop f4 against Maj. Maybe I can do some e5 then later. We'll see. Okay, now against Hayen, let me do a rook takes f8 first. Maybe I can misplace one of his pieces. Okay, queen b6 from Kanishka. And I think I'm going to go knight to d2 and see if I can maneuver my knight around, maybe get a hit on his queen. And that looks pretty good. Trivial Pursuit. We're getting into a Pano variation of the same issue. For some reason, you don't see that so much anymore. I don't know why. Okay, Jimmy B's gone rook to e8. And I'm going to go knight to c3. Knight a6 from Moving Dutchman, and I'm going to go knight to c3. And king takes f8 from Hayen. Interesting. So, let me see. What do I want to take with? If I take with the bishop on e4, I'm hitting h7. That could gain a tempo, but rook takes might not be so bad either. And I'm trying to, there's not a lot of pieces remaining on the board here, so I want to see if I could get something going fast. So I'm going to go bishop takes and hit his h7 pawn, see what he does about that. Knight f8 from Kanisha, trying to get his knight to the squares d4 and f4. And I'm going to put, I'm thinking I should just go knight to c4. Knight h5 from Havaniola, and I don't know, I'm going to see if I can play e4 against him and juice it up a little bit. A5 from Brian Wood, not sure what that does exactly. I'm going to go f3 and try and build a center for myself. Borgnar's gone bishop to d6, and I'm going to go bishop to d3. And Hayen has gone king to g8, and I'm looking to see if there's any tactics here. I'm thinking about queen to d3, actually, queen to d3 or queen to c2 maybe. I'm going to try queen to c2 and see if I could figure out what should he do about his h7 pawn. Borgnar has retreated his queen with queen e7, reasonable, and I'm going to castle. Let's see what's happening here. e6 from No Mercy for you. I'm going to go bishop to a3 and develop my bishop on the side there, see if I could crack him open. And knight f6 from Shamax. And let's see what to do here. I'm going to go pawn to a6 on him. My pawn ran all the way down there, try and soften him up a little bit. Queen a5 from Jester, and I'm thinking about taking up the center with e4. h5. Okay, now we got a pawn to h5 from 9t6, and let's see. He's trying to go pawn takes pawn. Maybe does that bother me? Then I would have to take back with a queen. It would be nice somehow if I could just leave that there. G5 seems to be probably the move I should play. So I'm going to go G5 and attack his queen. Pawn takes pawn, and I'm exchanging on e4 against Havaniola. Rook E8 from Brian Wood. It takes a lot of preparation against Brian Wood to play E4. I probably have to prepare for 3 or 4 moves before I could do it. And now Kanishka has gone Queen C7. And I'm going to go Bishop to E3. Try and come out fast here. Let's see, Knight F6 from Nezhmadinov. So if I go pawn takes pawn, he'll win my knight. So he's going to try to retake it at when he wants to. So I'm thinking about just going Bishop to E2 and get some development. Knight E6 is going Queen D8. There's a lot of developing and undeveloping, redeveloping going on in this game from him. I think I'm going to go H4, lock it up. His bishop on G6 doesn't look so good. Hayen's going G6, and now I'm wondering if I could try something like I'm going to try Queen B3 check. I'm going to see if I could do something fast to him. Moving Dutchman's going Knight C5, and I'm going to play Knight to D4. Let's see. Now, Borgnar, at what moment should I do something to him concerning E4? He might hit me with E5. I think I'm going to play A3, always a reasonable move there. A5 from Raster. And let me see what do I do there? I'm thinking about E5. Usually black goes E5 there, so I don't know. Maybe I could try to go E5 myself. I'm going to try to go E5 myself because he didn't play E5. Bishop H4 against ears. A6 against Trivial Pursuit. And I'm going to play, let's see. Usually I've played positionally in these ones. I go A3. Ears has playing the Lasker, and he's played Knight to E4. I exchange on E7. Mr. Neal's Castle Queenside. I'm going to get my Queenside rolling with pawn to B4. Rook C1 against ears. And no mercy for you's going Queen C7. And I'm going to go Rook AC1, get my pieces out. Borgnar's captured on C4. I hope Borgnar's enjoying his beer. And let's see what happened here. King G7 from Hayen. Now, the good news here against Hayen is I've kept his bishop from moving. And how will I build up here? I'm going to try bishop back to F3, clearing the E-file for some stuff. Pasqualino's gone B6. He's going to develop like that. And then I think I'm going to just go queen to E2. Jester's gone G5. Very controversial. I'm not sure if that's going to be too weakening for him. Havaniola, I'm going to just recapture with my H-pawn on G3. Rook FD1 against Pasqualino. Looks like one of these Queen's Gambits where normal moves are required. Pawn takes E5 against Raster. Borgnar has gone C5. And now I'm trying to see at what moment do I want to play D5. I'm going to retreat bishop to A2 and get my bishop out of the way. Havaniola has gone bishop to G7, and I'm going to try bishop to C4 on him. And Rook B8 from Trivial Pursuit, and I'm going to go pawn to B4. That's in the same-ish. And Jimmy B's gone E4, and I'm going to see now what I'm going to go knight to E1. And what's happening here against Shamax? Can I win a piece with C6? I'm going to try. His bishop looks like it's in some bad shape there. All right, queen, knight D7 for Raster. I'm going to go queen to E2, protect my E-pawn. And bishop to E6 has occurred from Kanishka. Now, I'm thinking about bishop to B6. Where will his queen go? Interesting business there. Maybe I can sometimes snatch a pawn. Let me go. I'm going to go bishop to B6 against Kanishka. Going in there fast. Jimmy B has gone E3. I'm going to go queen takes E3. Bishop H3 from Shamax. He sacked a piece. And I'm just going to take that piece. F6 from Mr. Neal. And, okay, now I got to see what to do to him. That's a very short move. I'm thinking about stuff like queen to A4 first. How does he protect his A7 pawn? And then maybe I don't know. Maybe I could get some tactics going on a diagonal later on. I might be able to. Maybe I could take it now. Bishop to G2. He'll probably do a bishop to H3 thing. So I'm gonna try a queen to A4 and see what's going on there. All right, let's see what's going on against Jimmy B. A6 from Pasqualino. At what moment should I go E4? Thinking about now. All right, I'm gonna try E4 against Pasqualino. I think I'm ready. Borgnor's gone C takes D4. I'm gonna take back with a pawn. That's sharp. Shamanex is threatening mate on me. And I guess what's the simplest way for me to stop this mate here? Maybe knight takes is going to be good. Knight G3 looks decent also. I think I'm just going to go knight G3, stop the mate. Heian has gone rook to B8, and now I want to see. I'm going to go rook all the way down to E8. And see what is he trying to do here? How does he unravel himself? Queen A5 check from Havaniola, and I have to block. Let's see. I'm going to block with knight to C3. Now he's got some tricky stuff here. I might have to actually move my king somewhere here because I'm wondering if he intends some knight takes C5 tricks. With bishop takes C3, something like that. So I think I'm going to try king to F1 and see if that's a reasonable thing to do. Queen B8 from Kanishka, and now I'm thinking about pawn snatching here. Thinking about maybe trying to take on A5. Any other things of interest here? If I take on A5, I would take on A5 with the bishop. And if he goes bishop takes C4, he gets mated on F7. So I think I'm gonna try to snatch a pawn here and see how that goes. All right, Jimmy B has gone rook takes E3, and now I'm looking at a couple of things here. I feel like I should get him going out of there with knight to C2 maybe, and then maybe E4. I'm looking at knight B5 ideas also. I like sacking the exchange a lot, but I just don't think I have enough to do it here with rook takes F6. I don't think that's enough. So I think that probably I'm going to do knight C2 followed by E4. That looks completely reasonable. Now, Maj, if I castle queenside, is that too crazy for me? Or can I just, or am I just trying to hit him fast here? I'm gonna try to castle queenside and play very aggressively there. Knight back to F6 from Havaniola. And let me see, do I want to take this on, let's see, do I want to take on F6 and then maybe some queen B3 thing? I'm going to give that a try out, see if maybe I could bother his king a little bit. Wow, moving Dutchman has gone H5. That's very surprising, and I'm not really sure if it's the right thing to do, to tell you the truth. I'm thinking of just going H4 myself. Also, maybe I don't know. Maybe I can do pawn to B4 in some positions, and just try to open him up. He'll go knight E4. Then my B pawn's hanging. So I have to see how do I want to open him up here. Something like bishop G5 could be interesting. And if I go H4, will he try and set up some sacks? I'm going to try H4 just because it's the typical thing to just slow somebody down there. Okay, now let's see, Jimmy B. There's a couple of moves I'm thinking about here. I don't know. I'm wondering really about knight to B5 there, to just go into his position and maybe win the exchange if he were to take on E2. What would he do? What would he do if I go knight B5? I'm gonna try knight B5. Let me think about this though. Knight B5. He goes knight A6. I take the D6 pawn. I don't know. I feel now if I go e4 and he plays knight b d7, one thing is he could get a really strong knight on e5, and if he does that, he has a good chance to be better. So, all right, I'm gonna try e4 and give it a shot there. See. Also, exchange sacks. I'm thinking about sometimes, still thinking about exchange sacks. Okay, now queen f4 from Hayen. And now, is queen c1 really bothering me a lot? Can he make perpetual check if that would have happened? First I'm gonna go queen g8 check and see where he goes with that. We got knight e7 from 9 t6, and I think I'm gonna go bishop to h3. Now after king h6 against Hayen, now I'm wondering how can he develop. Maybe the simplest thing for me to do is to just trade queens on f8 and ask him how he comes out. All right, I'm gonna do that. Trivial Pursuit has gone e5. I'll reply a5 there. Haven't he always gone bishop takes f6? I'll go queen to b3, bother his f7 pawn. B has gone knight b d7, and I'm wondering here if I go knight to b5, he just goes knight to e8. I would like to, if I could trade these knights off. I'm trying to not have his knight on e5 bother me too much. I'm going to go knight e3. Okay, Borgnor, I got him to retreat with the queen to d8, and then I'm always looking to see if d5 is d5 ever become a good move for me. It could trade everybody off and just turn into a draw. That's the big question there. And what's his development situation? All right, I'm going to try knight to e5. Okay, f5 from 9 6t, and now I'm going to go en passant, I think. And then I have to see what's going on there. At the moment, he's threatening f4. So I'm going to go en passant. And then against Trivial Pursuit, I have to figure out, I'm going to have to develop myself, obviously. I'm kind of wondering about the crazy of g4, which is kind of getting greedy and playing all over the place. I don't know. I mean, does that really feel right to play on both sides like that? I'm going to try it. What the heck? G4. Okay, Hayen, I take back, so I'm trying to tie him up. We got Moving Dutchman's going queen to c8. And I'm going to go bishop to g5 and just develop. Take some squares up. Havaniola's gone e6, and I'm going to go e1. Let's see. KM 1883 has gone knight b d7. Now, here's a question here. What if I snatch his b pawn now? How does that work? Knight takes e4. I'm going to see, can I snatch his b pawn now, or is he just going to come out with something? I'm going to try knight takes b5 now and see how that one works. Okay, Pasqualino's gone e5. I'm going to go d5. Let's see. 9-6t has gone g takes f6. And now I'm just threatening. I think I'm going to castle queenside and see what we could do here. See if I could get in there. a6 from Borgnor. I think I'm going to try queen to f3, trying to keep him from developing that bishop on c8 while building up some sort of attack. Trivial Pursuit has gone knight e8, I figured. And I'm going to go knight to g3. I'm really playing on all sides in this game. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. KM 1883 has gone knight c5, and now I got to see what kind of tricky stuff can I do. I'm just going to go rook to e1. He'll get the e pawn back. Jester's gone a6. At what moment on Jester should I do something like e5? I think I'm going to try e5 right now. Jester, actually, let me put the bishop into d6 first, and then see if I could do that. Okay, rook fd8 from No Mercy for You, and I'm going to try queen to b5. Jimmy B's gone knight e5, strong knight on e5. I'm going to go h3. Brian Wood, bishop d6. I think that's a good move. I'm going to go king there. And now against Jester. Now I'm going to go E5. Okay, Mr. Neal has gone A6, and I don't know, can that come back to haunt him later on? He's touching the side. They tell you not to touch the side you're getting attacked on, and he did. So should I go B5? I'm going to go B5 and try and open him up fast over there. King G8 from Hayen. I'm going to go rook to D8. So I snatched the pawn against Kanishka. He's threatening knight F4. I'm just going to go G3. Knight E8 from Jimmy B, and I'm going to play G4 and try and take up some more space over there, maybe cramp him up a little bit. Trivial Pursuit's going F5. I'm going to take on F5. I'm playing on all sides there. I don't know if it makes sense. Jester, what's going on here? Did Jester lose a piece? Jester just went B5. I'm going to take on F6. I think Jester might have lost a piece. Bishop H6 from 9-6T. And I'm going to take on H6 and misplace his rook and then see if I could take advantage of something later on. Trivial Pursuit has gone F5. That's, I mean, I don't know. This playing on all sides, I wasn't really sure about it when I did it. Now, it's a little, I don't know. It's interesting. It's a little suspicious looking, though. I think I'm going to have to see what to do. He's threatening F4, winning a piece. All right, I'm going to take on F5. It's a very weird looking position. Okay, no mercy for you. Can I take a pawn on C5? Rook takes H6 from 9-6T. I'm looking at ideas like F4 or something. Where will his king go? Where will his king go is a good question. I'm thinking about knight to B3 kind of stuff here. So I'm going to try knight to B3, maybe bother him with knight A5 sometimes. Rook takes D1, mercy for you. Rook takes D1 again. Rook to G8 from Kanishka. What's he trying to do to me now? Is he trying to set up some knight F4 thing? I think now I'll just go bishop back to B6. I snatch the pawn, and I'll see if I can play like nothing happened. Knight B8 from Mr. Neal. And how do I continue this attack here? Bishop to, I think I'm going to try rook to B1. Okay, now queen, no mercy for you, has gone pawn takes C5. And I'm thinking about going queen takes C5 or bishop takes C5 maybe. Any funny tactics? If his knight came back to C6, I wonder if I have a free move here to try and do something with this. So queen takes C5, bishop takes C5. I think I'm going to try. I'm going to just take on C5 with the queen and see how that one works out. Knight takes E4 from KM 1883, and now I'm looking to see anything weird here for me to do. Let's see. I was thinking about knight to D4 ideas. He's opening me up on this diagonal on the B2 square. I got to be careful about that. I think I'm going to just try knight on B to D4 and see how that one goes. All right, knight B6 from Brian Wood, and it's not time for me to do E4 just yet, so still preparing it. H5 from Hayen. Hayen has stopped me from going bishop G4, which would have won the exchange. But I'm thinking of continuing to try my idea. I wonder if I can, maybe I try H3 and G4. I'm going to see if I could go H3 and G4 and continue the idea to win the exchange. Pawn to A4 from Raster. I'm going to go rook to E1. G4 from Shamanax. And I want to make sure, I want to be really careful I don't mate myself there. I'm going to go rook to F2 and just be extra safe. Pawn takes C4 from Jester. I want a piece there. Hayen's king is coming over to F6. And I was thinking that I was going G4 there. Rook A5 from Raster. I was not thinking of that. Now is he just trying to win the pawn on a5, it would appear that I missed his pretty obvious idea of trying to win the pawn. So now I've got to see what kind of thing can I do here on a short notice. Okay, Havaniola has gone bishop to d7, and I didn't think he could do that because of a snatch on b7. So I'm going to snatch b7 and g4 from Hayen. And I was thinking against Hayen of doing some kind of thing here like g5 and bishop g4, but I don't want to give him two connected pass pawns to bother me with. So I think that I'm going to do king h2 first. He still can't unravel himself too easily. Okay, knight takes f5. I have to go knight takes f5 against Trivial Pursuit. Knight to h5 from Maj. And I will just go, I have to go bishop back to e3. Looks okay. Bishop takes f5 from Trivial Pursuit, and I'm going to go queen to d2. This game got sharper than I thought it would. a5 from Moving Dutchman, and I'm going to try knight to b5. Pawn takes pawn from Shamax, and against Shamax, I'm going to go bishop to f1 and see if I could send his queen back. But then, I don't know, could his queen then come up to go to g4 and try and bother me like that? I think I'm just going to take on f3. G5 from Hayen, and let's see what is going on now. I'm going to go, let's see, if I go bishop to e4, what's going on with bishop to e4? Let's try bishop to e4. Maybe I can get some stuff going here. So he's trying to come out fast, and I'm trying to keep him from coming out. Moving Dutchman has gone c6, and I thought I was going to take on c6 there, but I don't want to do a queen. I don't want to do any queen trading. So if I take on c6 and he takes with the bishop, what's going on there? He can take back with a queen. I don't know. I mean, I feel funny going knight back to d4, but maybe it's not a terrible move. Let's see. All right, I'm going to try my knight back to d4. Maybe I softened them up. I don't know. Okay, Raster is the position. One game where I just did not pay attention. He went rook to a5, and I didn't see his idea, and I'm down a pawn. Havaniola has sacrificed a pawn, and I don't know, is he getting enough for it? All right, I'm going to get my queen out of there right away and go queen all the way back. And let's see what the situation is there. I could go pawn to b4 on him and maybe try and keep my queen in there. I don't know. Is that worth it? Is it doing anything? Let's see. If I go pawn to b4. Yeah, okay. I'm going to try pawn to b4 against Havaniola, see if my queen gets into trouble or not. Okay. c5 from Pasqualino. I think I'm happy about that. I have a protected pass pawn. When should I push that pawn? It seems a little too soon to go d6. And also, is he trying to go b5? I'm going to go pawn up to a4 and see if I could do some maneuvering on him. h6 from Jimmy B. What's Jimmy B trying to do to me? I wish that I could trade that knight off. Let's see. I'm gonna bring my king up to g3. I think. Support the pawn, see what happens. Bishop to b7 from Jester. And Jester, I'm tempted to just go in and try and mate him here. I'm going to go knight to e5. And b6 from Mr. Neal. Interesting. Maybe he's trying to lock. Could that be right? I think he's trying to lock. So I'm going to try pawn takes pawn against Mr. Neal and see if I could continue the attack. Okay, Nejmadinov has gone d6. I go knight back to c4. Hayen has gone king e7. I'm going to go rook to g8. Queen to g4 from Shamax. And I think I'm going to double my rooks. And Pasqualino has blockaded, but they say the queen is not a good blockading piece. So I'm going to go knight to d2 and see if I can unblockade him. Okay, Moving Dutchman has now castled. and I got to figure out what to do here. I'm thinking of just putting my knight back into b5 and controlling some squares. Okay, Hayen has gone king to d6, and now finally I get bishop f5, and he goes king c7. What's this rook ending like? We could find ourselves in a rook ending. So if I go rook takes g5, I think I should just go rook takes g5 now, and win a pawn finally. Okay, rook b8 from Borgnar, but Borgnar still can't develop with b5, can he? I don't know. I'm gonna see. So I'm gonna go bishop back to b1, and knight d7 from Kanishka, and I guess. So now he's threatening. He's still not really threatening to do anything that bad to me, is he? Let's see. I was thinking about just going a5. Bishop to b3 is interesting. If I go back with my bishop, is knight f4 ever is he gonna start harassing me with that kind of stuff? So I'm thinking about a5. Knight takes. Okay, let's give a5 a try out. H6, g6 from Jimmy B. I'll go king to g3. Knight h3 check from Shamax, and I will go king to h1. Looks okay. Okay, I sent Havaniola's queen in there, and now I got to see what did I accomplish by sending his queen in there. So I got to see. I think I'm going to try bishop to b3 and cut his queen off and see. It's a risky situation. I don't know if my queen can get trapped in there. All right, now let's see what's happening to Maj. Maj has gone knight c6. Should I hit his knight on e? Should I hit that knight yet with bishop to e2, or should I wait? I think I'm going to wait and just go f4 and then see if I could do something to him afterwards. Knight takes f6 from Mr. Neal. And I'm going to try knight to e5. Okay, Brian Wood has gone knight c4. He's attacking my e3 pawn. I'm going to take on c4 and then see if I can get my center going finally. Rook h8 from 9t6. And let me see, what do I want to do to him here? Thinking about just going bishop to e6, trying to keep his king in the middle. e4 against Brian looks normal. Knight f6 from Jester, and against Jester, I'm going to try to mate him quickly here. I'm going to go pawn to f4 and open up the f file. Queen f4 check from Trivial Pursuit. I'm going to go bishop to f2. I may have overdone it in this game. We're going to find out, I guess. Okay, let's see what happens with Hayen. Hayen, I'm going to pin him with rook to g6, see if I could drive him back. All right, now, what happened against Eternal Warrior? Sorry, I don't know what's going on with the clock in this game. Okay, knight h5 from Shamnax, and I think I'm happy here to trade some pieces, make sure there's nothing funny going on. Knight t6 has gone f5. I don't know how healthy that could be, really, with his king where it is. Let's see, what else can he be trying to do here? I think I'm gonna try to see if I could open him up, but at this moment, I think I'll just go f3 and protect myself. Queen f4 from Trivial Pursuit, and I'm gonna take on f4. It's sort of a little bit locked. Maybe that could be somewhat safe for me. Rook f7 from Moving Dutchman. I'm gonna try rook to c1. Positionally, my game feels pretty good there. Rook to g1, pinning Trivial Pursuit's bishop. Eternal Warrior, we better start moving there, otherwise we're both going to lose on time. King g7 from Hayen. And I have to protect my A pawn, so I'm just going to go a3. Queen takes h5 from Shamax. Now, I feel like I'm almost having a winning shot here. What about d6? Eternal Warrior, let's see what's going on there. H5 from Kanishka, trying for this attack. I'm tempted to go queen takes h5, but I'm a little bit scared about it. Maybe I should just go bishop to b3 and protect all my stuff. I'm wondering what that's about. I'm looking at knight to e3 ideas to maybe trade some pieces off. Let me try knight e3. Okay, that looks reasonable. Eternal Warrior, we're catching up a little bit. Okay, now 6t. His king doesn't look so good to me, so we got to see what is he trying. What is he going to do with his king? Okay, bishop f8 from Brian Wood, and then I have to see how do I bother him here with my strong center. I don't know. I'm just going to go bishop to f2 and see if I can improve that bishop there a little bit. Queen e8 from Mr. Neal, and now I was thinking about knight to c6. I'm going to give it. I'm trying to not have him open it up. Trivial Pursuit's gone king h8. All right, I'm going to go king to d2. Trying to make myself safe here. This game, I went completely nuts in this game. Okay, Raster has some ideas here. He went queen to b4. Looks like a pretty good move. Threatening to double my pawns. I'm gonna take on b4. What can I do? I'm gonna try to battle. I'm down a pawn there. That game feels like my worst position. Okay, 9-6t. What is this move? Takes and queen e6 certainly feels like the right thing to do. Okay, exchange knights against Raster. I exchange knights, so he's up a pawn. Having Eola's attack my queen, and I go queen to c7, trying to annoy him a little bit. I'm going to try to keep Raster from developing. I'm going to try rook to d1. Keep that bishop in there for as long as possible. Maj has gone e5. Interesting move. I'm going to try to just go g3 and protect myself there, and then maybe do something to him later on. The move in Dutchman game is getting really interesting. I feel like his position is I don't know. I feel like his position is anti-positional. Does that make any sense? I don't even know if that's English. Okay, let me see what to do against him here. I was thinking about bishop f4 to provoke him, but then maybe he wants to go e5. So how do I build up on him here? Pretty interesting. I don't know. Take on f6. Don't know. Queen to d4 to provoke him into e5, but like I said, I don't know if that's what I want. So it feels good for me, but I don't see a clear-cut continuation just yet. Pawn takes pawn. He takes. All right, maybe pawn takes pawn is the right thing for me to do. I'm going to try pawn takes pawn and see if I can take advantage of some stuff there. All right, Simo's been going for just about an hour. Nejmadinov is we're in the early stages of this Latvian gambit. I'm just going to cancel his queen on e7. Looks a little funny. Queen e3, e6 check from 9t6. Try and discombobulate him. Now, can I put in? I'm going to put in bishop takes e6 first against Kanisha. And now, what's going on here against Havaniola? Queen check, and then knight e5 or knight e5 first? Good question. What's the deal? Let me go queen check first to force his king back and then do it. Okay, here comes Hayen. Hayen's trying to get his rook into my position. If I go rook check, does king f6 hurt anything? All right, I'm going to go rook check against Hayen. Maybe I could take his b pawn. I'm going to castle against Eternal Warrior. Okay, now, Hayen is trying to get active here. But can he get active? If I go king to g2, can I just do... I'm just going to try to go king to g2 and take it easy, and then maybe take his pawns. Okay, moving Dutchman's gone d takes e6, and this is where I thought maybe bishop f4 was going to be something. Well, let's see. All right, bishop b7 from KM 1883, threatening a pawn on d5 maybe. All right, I'm just going to try rook to b1. See, I'm sacking stuff. Rook e8 from Eternal Warrior. I go e3. Rook f4 from Hayen, and I guess I just go bishop f3. It looks okay. And what's happening to Kanishka? I just go pawn takes b6. His structure looks bad. Okay, Trivial Pursuit is trying to open up the position. Makes a lot of sense. I'm trying not to keep it open. I'm going to try rook to e1, maybe bother him with some rook e7 stuff at some point. Okay, Borgnor has gotten his bishop out, and now I want to see if I could do something to him. I'm thinking about some knight e4 kind of stuff. I don't know, and then he would take, and I threaten mate. I don't know, would he do f5, some kind of thing like that? Knight takes d7, I'm not so sure. I could win a pawn sometimes, and he could be in a bishop opposite color that might turn into a dead draw. So what's the right way for me to do this? Knight c4, he goes bishop c6. That doesn't seem right. I think I'm going to try knight to e4 and see how that one goes. Okay, here goes Kanishka with knight to f4. But can I take it? And then takes and just simply go knight g2. I'm going to try that and see if I could just go up a piece there. Moving Dutchman has gone queen to c8. And now I'm looking to see, I guess I'm going to trade these bishops on g2. I didn't really want to do that. Anything else here? I mean, is f3 worth it? What does f3 do? I'm gonna try f3. I really don't want to trade those bishops, so I'm gonna give f3 a try. Okay, now king f8 from 96, and I'm gonna do a rook to g1. I'm just trying to keep him completely bottled up here. Okay, Raster, I'm down a pawn, but I'm trying to keep him from moving. So now I'm thinking about knight to d4 stuff to keep him from moving. Okay, maybe I can keep that bishop on c8 for a long time. a6 from Eternal Warrior. I'm going to go pawn to b4. Anpas discovered check from Kanishka. I'm going to go knight to g2. And now Havaniola has gone king d8, and I'm just trying to see here. I would like to go. I'm thinking about knight e5. Well, another thing comes to mind here: rook takes h6, rook takes h6, queen check, and then take on h6. Could that be something? I think I should probably just go knight e5. That feels like the right thing to do. Okay, g5 from Jimmy B. This is a very blocked position. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. I'm thinking about going h4 myself, and then maybe getting in on the h file. Is he trying to do get it? I don't know if he tries to get a knight into f4. Can I just stop him with knight e2 sometimes? So pawn to b4. I don't know. He might just leave it there, and I don't know if I want to give him another place for a knight on d6. So let's see what to do. And knight f5. Knight f5. I'm not sure that I want to do that either. All right, I'm going to try rook on a to e1 and just take it easy there. Okay, pawn to c5 from Eternal Warrior. I'll take once. I'm trying some tricks here against KM. My idea was to go knight to f5. So we'll see if I know what I'm doing there. Okay, let's see what's going on here now. How's 9-6T unraveling himself? I'm going to try rook to g5, doubling rooks. Near his king looks like, I don't know, trying to annoy him there. Now, what to do against Eternal Warrior? Looking at queen to b3, looking at rook to b1. Rook to b1 feels right. Get out of the way. Queen takes d5 against KM 1883. Bishop c8 from Hayen. And now, if his rook can't get into my position, what's to keep me from just snatching his h-pawn? I'm going to try just rook h7 and take another one. Okay, so knight f4 from Shamanx. And I feel like this one is big trouble for him. Bishop takes, and then rook takes, maybe trying to break through towards f7. A5 from Hayen, and I'm just going to go. I'm going to snatch that H pawn, get my 2 pawns going later on, I hope. Rook AC8 from Pasqualino, and I'm going to go knight to C4. Dislodge his queen. Against Shamanx, I guess rook takes F4 looks like the right thing to do, hitting F7. King G7 from Jimmy B. And now I'm thinking about H4. If I go H4 and he goes knight F6, I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to do that to my pawn there. So I think I'm going to just I'm going to just try rook to E2 and take my time there. He's sort of bottled up, and I'm not really doing too much either, so it looks okay. Okay, Kanishka, can I snatch a pawn on H5 with check? Let's see. Havaniola, what do I take on E5 with? I'm going to take on E5 with my queen. Okay, Pasqualino, at what point do I go D6? I'm wondering. Maybe now? I'm gonna try D6 now. See if I could get in there and bother him some. B6 from Jimmy B. Okay, and is his bishop? No, his bishop can't really go anywhere. I'm just gonna go pawn to B3 and protect my position. Hayen has gone B5. Rook H6 feels like it's just about probably winning for me now. Let's see. 9-6 has gone Rook G8. And I will go rook to G1, and, I'll see what to take back with. Okay, Kanishka has gone King E7. And now what's the easiest way for me to just do something here? How do I protect my position? I think I'm just going to go rook to D1. All right, Bishop F8 from Pasqualino. And I'm going to see here, I'm going to try rook to F3. Okay, Havaniola has gone. Now let's see what can I do to him here. Rook takes H6, and then queen takes G5. I take that, but then he gets D4, and he maybe gets C5, but maybe I get F7. So I'm thinking about that. Can I improve my position at all while waiting for him to do something? I wonder about going rook to D1 first. Rook to D1 first, does that do anything? So I got my king. I feel like my king can be safe. Bishop to C2. Does bishop to C2 do anything? Provokes F5. Could that be worth it to provoke F5? I think I'm going to try bishop to C2, see if I can provoke F5. That might cause a weakening of his position, so we'll see if that could help. All right, now, Pasqualino, I'm thinking about going rook to F3 and just going in after him. Okay, knight F6 from Trivial Pursuit, and I'm thinking about I'm looking at rook E7 ideas. I'm looking at bishop D4 ideas. I'm going to try bishop to D4. See if I can keep him tied up. Okay, Pasqualino's gone bishop to C6. And I have a lot of different sacrifices here. I have my knight takes. I could make him go. I could move my knight back, and then he goes knight F6. I'm not really sure what that is. Knight takes B6 is a lot of stuff for he's getting a lot of pieces for the queen, but his position looks kind of shattered after that. I don't know. I think I'm going to give knight takes B6 a try here. Rook takes F7. I don't know. Rook takes F7 just came to mind, and where will he go on that? Double checks and whatnot. I don't know. I think I'm going to try knight takes B6. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so we got Mr. Neal's got knight takes C6. I'm going to go. Let's see. Should I just take on C6? I'm just going to take on C6 against Mr. Neal. Try and get my queen in there. Bishop E6 from Hayen, and now. Should I just get my pawns going? I'm just going to try to rush my pawns up here. I'm just going to go G5 and see if I can push them in. Okay, Nejmadinov has gone d5. I'll go knight e5. Rook to b8 from Eternal Warrior. We're just in kind of in a normal position here. Looks okay for both sides. And I'm going to go queen d2 and protect my knight. Okay, I've provoked f5 from Havaniola, and now I'm going bishop back to e6. If I could snatch that e pawn, maybe his position would be wide open. I'm going to try h4 against Hayen. I'm going to just see if I can run my guys in there. All right, now, what's going on here against Shamex? Rook takes f7. Let's see, Hayen's trying to play active. He's trying to get in there. I'm going to try. I don't want to give him a pass pawn, so I take with the b pawn on a4. Queen b6. KM trying to make some threats against my f2. I'm going to go bishop to e3 and pin him and see if that does something. Kanishka's gone rook to g5, and I'm just going to go queen to f3 and just defend myself. And now what's going on here against Borgar? Bishop to b5, surprising. Bishop to b5, and now what can I do to him here after this bishop to b5? If I take, he takes back with a queen. The double pawns don't look that bad. Let's see, any other kind of thing here to do to him? Can I just maybe go rook to d1 or something? I'm not sure. It feels like this is not so bad for him. If I take and go queen e4, does that do anything? He goes g6. Looks like he's putting together a solid position here with bishop to b5. A surprising move, but doesn't look bad at all. I don't know what to do. Looking at knight to g4s, I think I'm going to try a rook on c to d1 and just maybe I'll keep him bottled up a little bit. Okay, queen e8 from Kanishka. What is he trying to do to me? I think I'm just going to go king to h1, maybe try to trade rooks on the file. King b8 from Mr. Neal, a very confusing position. And I'm going to go bishop to g2 and try and get myself out of there. Nejmadinov has gone knight bd7. I'm going to play bishop to f4, just develop, try and keep him bottled up. King f7 from Kanisha. And I'm going to go rook to g1. Okay, now we have to see. Queen b8 from Maj. I got to get a hit on his knight or go knight to d5. Knight to d5 feels like a good move for me there. I'm going to just do it. Okay, bishop c6 from Moving Dutchman. And I don't know. I go knight back to d4 and he moves his knight. I think, first of all, what's he trying to threaten here? Where should my king be? I'm going to try king to h2, get my king out of the way. All right, now, against Shamanax, lots of stuff's been traded. Okay, I'm going to go rook takes f8, trade off everybody. And the game against Pasqualino, he's getting a lot of stuff for the queen, but I'm getting a lot of pawns. We got to see what's going on there. Pawn takes b4 against Hayen. Kanishka has gone queen h8. And now I'm just looking to see the best way to unravel myself here. I'm going to go knight to e1 and just defend. All right, so Pasqualino, I've gotten his queen, but he's gotten a million pieces. Queen b7 from Moving Dutchman. And he wants to come out with rook to d8. Makes sense. And I don't know, does he want something with knight g4 check sometimes is a good question. It's a very good question. So let's see, if I go queen c2, what happens? I'm going to try queen to c2, anticipating his rook coming to d8, and I just want to get out of the way. Queen takes a 6 against Pasqualino. Let's see if there's anybody left in that position. Okay, now what's the best way here to beat Shamex? I'm gonna maybe make another queen, play d7. Maj has retreated with his knight, and I think I'm just going to go bishop to g2, and I like my game there. I have a lot of development. Okay, now 9-6T is what's he up to here? I think he just wants to go queen f7. But hold on. What is queen h6? I think I might have just won that one. All right, let's see. Now, Bognar has moved his knight, and I'm going to try knight to c3 again. I don't know. I mean, his knight on d5 is very strong. Any sort of thing, like, I don't know, knight takes, and then the queen takes, but he gets knight f6 with a tempo. So he's putting together a pretty nice defense here. All right, I'm going to go knight back to c3. I think this position's probably just pretty equal. Okay, now what's happening to Havaniola? Havaniola's going queen to b2, and that's what I figured would be his counterplay. And now I'm looking to see if I could just defend myself with rook to d1 and keep all my stuff. Okay, now looks like Hayen has gone rook takes d4. Do I want to take on c6 or just push my pawns? It's a good question. I think probably pushing is something to be said for. I think there's something to be said for going rook h7 check first, and then maybe coming up with a king. Okay, Kanishka's threatening mate, and I'm just going to defend the mate. If I go, let's say I go queen, if I go rook to g2, just defending like that, looks reasonable. Okay, now, Moving Dutchman has lined up his rook on my queen, and I'm looking to make sure that there's no good discoveries for him. So do I have to go queen back to b1? No, okay, doesn't look terrible, so we'll see what happens here. a5 from Havaniola. And now I'm still getting all of this stuff with h6 and whatnot hanging. I don't know here if I go bishop takes e6 now, what's happening? All right, I'm going to try bishop takes e6 now. I've got Hayen's king to go backwards. And I want to make sure I push. There's not a lot of stuff here left on the board, so I want to make sure that I do this the right way. Bishop takes c6, looks okay. Okay, Havaniola pinned me, and I'm going to go queen to h8. Although, I don't know, I might have gotten myself into trouble here. Let me see, because does he get some rook e1 check? He might be getting a queen e2 check thing going here. So I gotta watch this one. I don't know. Might not have paid attention for one move here. So let's see. Rook check. All right, I'm gonna go queen check on h8. Knight g4 check happened from Moving Dutchman. We expected something like that, and I'm gonna go king back to g1. Let's see. Rook h7 from Kanishka, and now I would like to maneuver my knights around. I think I'm going to try knight to e2, do some real protection stuff here. Okay, so now we got Hayen has gone rook takes b4, and I'm just going to go rook to h6, make sure all my stuff is protected. e5 from Moving Dutchman. And I'm going to try, I'm going to go bishop back to, at what moment, and then the board switched on me. That's confusing. All right, so I'm going to take with the e-pawn against Maj. And now I have to be really, now against Havanioli, I feel like I blundered there because I don't see a good move for me. I'm going to try queen to e5 check and see what happens. Okay, ears, rook takes c3. The ears game is like in slow motion over there. I'm going to castle against Mr. Neal. Bishop takes g5. I thought I went bishop g2, bishop d2 against Moving Dutchman, but I guess not. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so knight takes d4 against Eternal Warrior. And bishop d7 from Jimmy B. And I'm going to go a4. Knight to d1 from Kanishka, and Let's see. So he's threatening to come in with his queen. I'm going to go queen to D3. Try and box him out. Knight E3 against moving Dutchman. I don't know what I did there. I did some kind of weird thing. All right, I have knight. Do I have knight D6? Pawn to F4 against KM, and so he's going all out for tricks on the F2 pawn. I'm going to try bishop to D4. Bishop C6 from Borgnor. And now I'm going to see if queen D3 does anything. I've finally made my battery for what it's worth. Okay, Hayen has gone king F7. And now if I come up with my king, does he bother me at all? So my rook is my rook in the best place here. I have to look out because this is an H pawn. I'm going to go rook F3 check. Rook F6 check, sorry. Okay, now against Kanishka, he's threatening to take something. But is that really going to bother me? I'm going to go queen to D7 check, see if I could tie him up there. Ears, bishop D3. Ears is playing Alaska. Okay, now, against Havaniola, I don't know. Do I have to take a draw, or does he have to take a draw, or do we all have to take draws? I don't know. I'm going to go queen to H8 again and see what the story is. Queen C7 against Brian Wood. I'm going to try bishop to H4. Knight E5 from Eternal Warrior. Trying to get into E5, and I'm gonna try rook to D1. See if I can work on that D pawn. Okay, Pasqualino's got knight D7 here, and he's got a lot of stuff for the queen, like I said. So I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go rook to D1 and see if I could protect stuff, and then unravel myself a little bit. Jimmy B has gone knight C7, and I guess he could go for B5 slowly. I don't know. I wonder if I can play for A5 myself in some position. I'm going to see if I can try to do something now that I made my position safe. Knight, Maj has gone knight A5, and I'm going to take on A5, and then I'm going to see if I can really bother him there. Okay, let's see. Going to go king G3 and come up against Hayen. Hold on, king G3, not good. He's got rook G4 check. I have to go bishop. Now he's threatening my H pawn. I might not have done this the right way. I think I now have to go rook back to H6. Bad technique, I'm afraid. Very bad. It's been bad in these simuls for some reason. Okay, Jimmy has locked it. So since he's locked it, I don't know. I'm wonder what his plan is going to be here. I'm going to try H4. Maybe I'll lock it. He locked one side. Maybe I'm going to lock the other side. Bishop D6 from Mr. Neal. I'm going to go knight to F6. Knight to F3. Now, against Maj, it looks good for me. I'm trying to get my pawns going. I can go queen A4 check at some point and keep him from castling. Let me do that right now. Queen A4 check so that he can't castle. Let's see now what to do here against moving Dutchman. Do I want to take on which one do I want to take? The F7 rook. Which one is bothering me the most? Maybe the F7 rook. Let's take on F7. Okay, now let's see what to do here against Hayen. Hayen has gone king F7, and I'm going to come back bishop to F3, trying to unravel myself. All right, now against Kanishka, knight F3 looks like a move, threatening some pawns, and knight G5 also. Queen takes F7 from moving Dutchman. And I wonder if I could just go rook to F2. I'm going to try rook to F2 and just keep my stuff. Okay, knight F6 from Borgnor, and now I'm wondering here, I can't take C6 really. I'm wondering, can I go knight to G4? Does it do anything? I'm going to try knight to G4. Let's see if that scares him at all. All right, Havaniola, I'm afraid I'm going queen F6 check again. And I don't know if this is a draw or what. Maybe he can try to do something. So, all right, bishop takes D4 from KM, and now what do I want to take with here, on the queen or the knight? If I take with the knight, I have a lot of people on e4. That might be right. Let's see what to do. All right, I'm going to take with the knight, and that looks pretty decent for me. Okay, c6 from Raster. I mean, I'm battling here anyway. I lost a pawn for nothing, but I'm causing some trouble here. Keeping them tied up is a reasonable thing to do. All right, king c7, queen e5 check from Havaniola, from me against Havaniola. And now, what's going on here against Kanishka? Kanishka has gone king to f6. I'm thinking of threatening some mate with maybe queen to g8. That looks like it might cause some trouble. Queen to e8, threatening mate. Knight c4 from Eternal Warrior. I'm going to go queen to a2, see if I could pester him. Moving Dutchman's gone f4. And now I'm wondering if I could get rid of his knight. I think I have to take on f4. Okay, Nejmadinov has gone c5. This is another game that for some reason feels like it's going in slow motion. I'm going to go knight c3 and try and come out very fast on him. Aha, Raster has gone e5. Maybe I should have stopped that because then his bishop's coming to e6. So let's see, where should my rook go now? So I think that he's fixed his problem rather simply there. So all right, I'm gonna go rook back to d3 and just play like nothing happened. And now I think the best thing for me against Jimmy B is I'm gonna lock the side with h5, and then and then we'll have to see what's going on. Is anybody trying to win that game? All right, let's see. Against Raster, what to do here? I think that bishop e6 just is pretty good for him. All right, so I have to figure out what to do. I'm just gonna go. I think I'm just gonna play h4 and act like nothing happened. Okay, now with Maj, how can I do something here? I'm thinking getting my passed pawns going has to be the right thing to do. Okay, now Havaniola's gone king to b7, and I'm going to try queen to g7, and what's happening here? Okay, here come the checks from Hayen. Queen takes f4 from moving Dutchman, and I got to see, how do I rebuff this attack? I'm thinking of going knight to d1 to trade. See what happens there. All right, now Pasqualino has gone king to e8. He's trying to unravel himself. I'm going to go queen to c4, see if I can get into e6. Shamax, what's he trying to do to me? I feel like it should be a pretty easy win for me. No, I'm resisting the temptation to go queen takes d6 and c7, which looks pretty good actually. Does he have any checks? That's the way to screw up games, but I think probably it's actually the best move, so I'm going to go queen takes d6. Okay, now rook b4 from Hayen, and I would like to inch my pawns in here. I'm going to go rook to rook check, see, forces king over. Okay, we got I'm going to go rook takes g2 from moving Dutchman. And now what's going on here with Kanishka? I would like to mate him. I'm looking at knight takes f4 and then e5 check. Looks okay. I think I'm going to try that. E4 for moving Dutchman makes good sense. Wants to open it up. And now, how do I get my pieces in here? Let's see what to do here. I don't want to let his queen into e3. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to see, can I get my queen back into the game? Maybe with queen to c2. Pawn takes f3 is certainly going to be a big threat. Rook to c3 to stop some stuff. I don't know. It's hard to say how to unravel here. Rook to c4 maybe. I'm going to try rook to c4. Not sure how that's doing. Okay, let's see. Shamax, the 2 pawns on the 7th look nice. Brian Wood. Okay, so I boxed his knight out. So now I'm going to try to go e5 and get that center going. All right. Mr. Neal is trying to fork me. I get knight takes d4. And he goes knight c3, forking me. So I have to. Do I have to stop that fork? Is a good question, or can I do it? And all right, I'm going to try knight takes d4 against Mr. Neal. Okay, I've stopped. I made Haynes king move back, but now what's the next step here? All right, I'm going to try rook to f4. Knight to d3 from Jimmy B. Where is he going? I think I'm gonna go rook to f1. Okay, let's see what happened here at Borgnar. Borgnar went g6. Yeah, that's a good move now. Can I go knight takes h6, I'm wondering. Let's try this, and we'll see how it works. Okay, now Hayen's trying to get me from behind. And I'm going to go bishop to e4. I'm glad his king is cut off. That helps me. Okay, now let's see what's going on here for Borgnar's gone king h8. And I thought I was going to sacrifice on f7 if he went in the other direction, but he didn't. So now I'm looking to see. I have 1 pawn. I could get 2 pawns and maybe 3 pawns. But I don't know if he's getting some counterattack on with rook h7 or something. No, but my bishop's covering it. Let's see, knight g4. To not sacrifice. Knight takes g4, queen h3, and then take. That looks decent. I think I'm going to give knight to g4 a try. Let's try it. There's a knight takes and a queen check. Okay, that looks all right. Let's see here. Mr. Neal has gone knight to c5, so he's established a very strong knight. I'm up some pawns though. So do I want to here to go knight b5 check while I can and take on d6? Or do I want to retreat the queen? I think I'm going to go knight to b5 and then take on d6. Messy position. Okay, here comes Brian Wood. His knight's trying to get to a square. I'm going to see, can I go f4, f5 and just attack? Queen c5 from Shamix. I go d8, make a queen on d8, and that should about do it in that game. Knight back to e5 from Jimmy B. And I'm going to play rook to, I don't know. Knight f5 he takes, and I get an e4 square, big deal. I think I'm just going to go rook back to f2. I think probably that's going to be a draw. And now I got to see what to do here. I'm going to try rook to e3 against Raster. I'm trying to bother him here, and it's not easy. Nejmadinov, I'm getting a huge lead in development. I'm hoping that helps me. Okay, now f4 against Raster. Am I getting my pawn back with a decent kind of position? Okay, now what's going on here? d8, queen g7 against Shamax. And I'm just going to go queen to e7. I think that should probably do it against Shamax. I think he's probably done. Now, if I'm trying to win against Jimmy B, what's the story here? I'm going to try bishop to h3. I'm not sure what I should be trying to do there, to tell you the truth. Okay, looks like Hayen is going rook to g1 check. I'm going to go king to f2. Ears has gone e5, and I'm going to take on d5. Queen d2 from Moving Dutchman. Looks like, now, is he trying to bother me with queen to e1 check? I think he is, but I don't know. Is that going to be, what's that going to be? I'm going to try queen to c1 and see if I can hang in there. Rook h8 from Bagnar, and so he's threatening to take the h2 pawn with check. I'm wondering if I can give that to him somehow. I'm going to try pawn to d5 and see if I could give that to him. All right, now what's happening with Ears? Ears took on d4, and I think I'm liking my game positionally here. Or do I want to snatch material with queen takes d4 or just go knight takes d4? I think I'm going to go queen takes d4 and then decide whether I want to snatch material or not. Queen e1 check from moving Dutchman. I bring my king up. Rook g4 from Hayen. Okay, so it's a wrong color rook pawn. That's for sure. So I have to see, can I push it in the right way? Okay, Nezhmadinov has gone queen to c5, and I'm really trying to keep him in the middle here. I'm going to try queen to a4. Just to keep him in the middle. I'm going to cancel against ears, play positionally. I'm going to offer Hayen a trade of bishops, which he has to decline. I'm going to double rooks on the c file against ears. Okay, okay, Brian Wood is threatening to go knight e3, so I think I'm going to trade knights. That fixes his pawns, but I want to go f5. All right, now what's going on here with the moving Dutchman? He took on f3, and I have to take back, and then he's going to get bishop takes f3. Against Kanishka, I go e5, and against Shamax, this must be over. What's the best way to mate him? Rook f8 check. Let me see here. Rook a5 for Raster and protecting his pawn, and then let's see. So I still haven't won the pawn back. He's got me. He's got me tied to c4. Do I want to go pawn to b4 here? And see, I'll try that out. Okay, queen takes f8 against Shamax. Knight takes e8 against Mr. Neal. Pawn takes b3 against Raster. Raster seems to be the only game where I have some problems. Okay, now against Jimmy, if I go rook into to f6, he has knight e8, so I go rook back to d2. Queen now. What's the deal here against Kanishka? Queen, let me just go queen takes e7 and be up a piece and still trying to mate him. I'm going to push my pawns against Hayen. I have to be careful that it's a wrong color rook pawn. And I'm going to push, let's see now, what do I do against Brian Wood? I think I want to go knight c3 first, bother him a little bit. Okay, now I'm afraid moving Dutchman, I might have a problem here. Let's see what to do. Maybe well, he's threatening knight and he's threatening now, but if I get a trade of queens, or I'm going to try knight e3 and see if I could do some fighting there. All right, now Kanishka, what's happening? Would like to mate him here. Would like to mate him, but if I have to win his rook, I guess that wouldn't be bad. So queen f7 check, try to take his rook. Borgnor has gone e takes d5, and probably this one is, I'm not sure. I'm thinking of trying to trap his bishop on g3, so I'm going to go g3 and see what that is. Rather odd. Okay, now Hayen has gone king f7, and I'm going to bring my king up. I have to remember, like I said, it's a wrong color rook pawn. Okay, hold on. What happened with Brian Wood? He's giving me that d pawn. All right, I'm going to take it. Let's see what's happening here with Mr. Neal. Rook h e8. Now, the pawn situation in this game is really, I feel like I'm up some stuff, right? But is he getting to go bishop takes c4? Is the question. So I'm going to come out with a tempo with bishop g5, get that bishop out of the way. Queen f6 against Borgnor. And now let's see what to do against Borgnor. I was thinking of just playing something like king to. What's he trying to do here? I probably overdid this one. Maybe could have played a little safer. Is knight takes d5 a move for me here? Knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, rook takes d5. I don't know if he has some kind of tricks. King to g2 maybe. All right, I don't know. I'm gonna try king to g2. I probably, it's gotten a little strange looking in that one. All right, rook to e8 from Trivial Pursuit. And I'm going to trade some rooks and then maybe just go bishop d3. Nezhmadimov really wants to trade queens. He's gone queen to b4, and I think I'm going to pin with bishop to b5. See how I'm doing there. Okay, rook takes d4 from Havaniola. And let's see what is that about? I'm very confused. If I go queen takes d4, and I'm not sure what happened there, so we shall see. Jimmy B has gone knight back to e5. We've done repeating, and probably we should just make a draw, I would think. Queen c1, and now moving Dutchman is just going to be up a pawn, but it's not going to be that easy. And now let me see what to do against Havaniola. I'm going to snatch this h6 pawn. I'm not sure what he just did there. And I'm going to go king takes g2 against moving Dutchman, trying to make a draw there. Okay, now let's see. Eternal Warrior. What's going on there? I'm thinking of stacking on b7 and then maybe winning the exchange. Not sure what that's about. Okay, Bordnor has gone d4 check. I expected that. I'm going to go knight to e4. I'm trying to trap that bishop. I'm really sort of overdoing it here. Now, here comes moving Dutchman. And how do I want to reply here? His rook's coming to e2. I'm going to go try knight to c4, see if I could harass him a little bit. Now, rook to d4 from Mr. Neal, and so he's going to get some pawns back, but I have two passed pawns in the middle coming down. Do I want to just go e4? I'm going to see then what's the deal there. I'm not sure if rook to b4 does anything. All right, I'm going to try e4 against Mr. Neal. Very confused. Okay, rook fe8 against Raster. I'm going to try the pawn takes pawn, maybe see if I could get some stuff back. Bishop g4 from Ears, and I'm going to go knight e5. Positionally, I like my game a lot here. Now, what's the right way to do this against Eternal Warrior? Is bishop takes d5, just hitting a lot of stuff. So bishop takes d5, I'm trying. Knight takes f2 from KM 1883. Wow. Now, what is that about? Piece sack. I have queen b5s all over if I want them. All right, I'm going to go king takes f2 and see what he's up to. Ears, I think, do I want to go rook c7 and start snatching pawns? It might not be pawn snatching, though. I'm thinking I should just go h3 and give myself air. Seems like the right time for air. Okay, now let's see what's happening with Borgnor. Borgnor has gone queen to d6. Walks into a pin, but his queen's hanging, but I'm pinned, so can I do f3? And is he up to something here? All right, I'm going to try f3. And now, Trivial Pursuit, I'm thinking about just going bishop to d3. Knight e6 from KM 1883, and can I just protect with rook to d1? Knight d3 from moving Dutchman, and I'm looking to see is he getting some kind of threats here with knight takes b2 situation, and knight takes b2, and then maybe to bother me a little bit, just take some pawns. So I think I'm going to try rook to c3. Rook takes e5 from Raster, and I'm going to go rook takes e5. And he takes back, and I'm going to see if I could go rook e1. I'm just going to see if I could bother him a little bit here. Bishop takes e4 from Borgnor, and I'm going to go, let's see, what do I go? Rook takes e4. I have to be careful here. He's got some f5 thing going. So I'm going to go bishop takes e4. And I'm going to go rook e1 against Raster. And rook takes c4 from Mr. Neal. And let's see what to do now. Do I keep all my pawns? I'm going to try pawn to e5. I'm trying to get my pass pawns going. Knight takes b2 from moving Dutchman. And now can I go knight takes b6? I'm trying to get some material off here. Let's see. I don't know about and some knight takes d6s, some knight takes b6 or something like that. Trying to get some pieces off here. Let's see. If I go knight takes, I don't know if I can if I'm ever bothering him with back rank stuff. It's interesting to try knight takes b2, check, king up, and then try some g6 thing, but I find that hard to believe that could work. But if it doesn't, then I'm just kind of lost here anyway. So and he's threatening in this position maybe to go rook c8 or something. So let's see, knight d6. Knight d6, rook e5. You know, my g5 pawn is not in the best of shape either. So let me see. All right, I'm gonna try this knight takes b2, and we'll see what happens. And if that's it, that's it. What can you do? Okay, now knight takes e3 from Eternal Warrior, and all kinds of things are going on here. I guess I have to take on e3. Rook e2 check from moving Dutchman. King g3, like I said. Rook e5 from Raster. And I'm going to try pawn to b4 and see if I could just trade some stuff. Rook h5 from Borgnar, threatening the fork. And let's see now if he gets that fork, what's the deal there? I go rook to h1. He protects. I'm going to try bishop back all the way to b1. All right, now let's see what to do here at moving Dutchman. I don't know. Nothing better to try than g6. Raster has gone rook to rook. He's trying to bother my g3 pawn now. I'm going to see here. Can I go pawn to b4 and trade some? Maybe get a position where there's not a lot of stuff left. Okay, now rook. So. The idea here for KM is to go rook to c5 and bother my queen. But when my queen's bothered, maybe I can go somewhere else. So let's see. Queen f5 is, or queen. Let's see what happens here. So I want to unpin. I'm going to unpin with king to f1 and see what the story is here. Okay, now Trivial Pursuit. Interesting. Can I go rook takes g7 and knight e4? Let's see what that does. All right, now, moving Dutchman's taking some pawns, and I have to see if there's any way to harass him here. Okay, Nezhmadinov. I'm going to bother. I have nice development in this position. This position looks pretty good. Can I go rook on A to D1 and just keep pressuring those pawns? Okay, knight E4 against Trivial Pursuit. Moving Dutchman has gone king over. The only thing I have to do here is try to take this G pawn and maybe bother him. Okay, looks like Ears is trading off all the rooks. Knight to C3 from Mr. Neal, and I'm going to go. Let's see, where should I go with this? I could offer him I'm trying to get my pawns going here. So against Mr. Neal, rook to b4, I don't know, maybe. All right, I'm going to try rook to b4 against Mr. Neal. Really confusing position. Bishop takes e4 from Trivial Pursuit. What do I want to take this back with, the pawn or the bishop? I'm going to take it back with the pawn. I don't feel like a passed pawn's bothering me too much. Okay, so Borgnar has gone rook to d8. And now I'm going to, let me see, let me trap his, let me see if I could trap his bishop with rook to h1. Let's see how this is going there. Okay, moving Dutchman plays rook to g4, and that's just a good move, and that's probably the end of the game. He puts his rook on g4, and that should do it. So I have to resign. I thought I had a good game there, but very, very nice defense from Mr. From moving Dutchman. All right, so that's one loss, and let's see what happened here. Rook H1. The other games I'm fighting, as it looks now, my score may not be too bad when it ends. I might have won a couple of games. I'm not sure. I haven't seen them lately. So Rook to C5 from Mr. Neal, and let's see what to do here. Now, Mr. Neal is after my E pawn. I really would like to keep that E pawn, unless there's some kind of trick I could come up with. So I'm going to see if I could go Rook to E1 and keep it, and then get my pawns going. Let's see. Trivial Pursuit has unpinned his king, completely reasonable. And now what do I do here? E5 maybe is going to be okay for me, or pawn takes. This one may be headed towards a draw. Okay, Queen Eternal Warrior has unpinned, has moved his rook C7, and now there's all kinds of weird ideas I have here. I'm looking at knight to B5. Knight to B5, but he takes. I get that one back. He gets that one, and it's a bishop opposite color, where I'm up a pawn. I don't know how good that's going to be. Knight to E4, and where would his queen go? That's probably the best. Okay, so I'm going to try knight to E4. Let's trade some stuff against Raster and see if we can get into a position where there's hardly anything left. I'm going to go pawn to E5 against Trivial Pursuit. Let's see. And now against Ears. Ears is this is a solid game that Ears is playing here. I feel like I have to just retreat my knight and go for good knight versus bad bishop kind of situation. Now rook takes E5 against Raster, or what? And then he takes G3. If I go king up, I'm attacking 2 pawns. Maybe king F2 is some sort of chance. Let's see what happens with king F2. Okay, now Neshmadinov has just gone bishop to pawn to B5, and I'm looking to see, can I go bishop to B3 and just pressure his pawns, and time pressure for both of us. Bishop to D5 from Mr. Neal, trying to trade those bishops, working on my E pawn. Makes some sense. Do I have any tricks here? So bishop to D5. Okay, I'm just going to take on D5. This is getting to be a it's going to be pass pawns on all sides. I have my pawn on E5. I guess it's a little closer to queening. Maybe that will be a help. We'll see. Simon's been going for about an hour and just about 2 hours, I guess. So what's Mr. Neal going to take back with? Let me see what other games Borgnor's thinking. I guess everybody is thinking. I'm threatening against Borgnor to take on H7. Okay, Mr. Neal recaptured. Now I should go what? Rook to D4. Yes, rook to D4, and see if I could get my pawns going. Another solid move from Ears, who's gone queen C7. Threatening, okay, and I'm just going to go queen back to D2. I'm hoping for a good knight versus a bad bishop situation. See, Ears, if you play solid, you got a chance, right? Playing very solidly today. I must be slightly better, but no more. I thought earlier I had maybe more of an edge, but it seems like it's not bad at all for black here. Okay, queen B6 from Eternal Warrior, and I'm thinking about rook to B1 kind of stuff here. Just bother him and then see. All right, let me go rook to B1. I'm trying to chase his queen somewhere where maybe I could take his bishop on F6 and just and fracture his king side a little bit. Okay, we got doubled rooks from Borgnor, and now. All right, now let's see. If I go queen takes D4 check, what's going on here with his bishop? I don't know. I mean, is he all tied down to his bishop? It's a bishop opposite color position, so I don't know. It's nice to have his bishop trapped in there on h2. All right, I'm gonna do some bishop to e4 thing here and harass some pawns. Also, I can sometimes offer him a trade of rooks. That wouldn't be bad. Okay, Ears is going bishop to d7. I'm going to go knight to d4. That's what I got going for me there is that knight. Let's see what's going on. Mr. Neal is... we're about to get involved in some crazy race here. I'm going to try, against Mr. Neal, I'm going to try bishop takes d7. Rook h3 from Borgnor, threatening my g-pawn. Aha. So now, will that get him? Will that save him, or what? If I go, let's say, if I go g4 and he plays rook g3, and does he have to go back? All right, I'm going to try g4. Let's see how it works. Okay, against Eternal Warrior, I'm happy. Am I happy to take this bishop and mess up his pawns? And let's see what's happening here against KM. Knight takes d4. I thought I was just going to go queen takes d4 and take it back. All right, now against Eternal Warrior, some solid move is called for here. Something like, I don't know, knight f5 doesn't look terrible, does it? Queen to f2 seems reasonable. I'm going to try for queen to f2. And now Nejmedimos got knight to b6, so I could snatch this pawn. What does he get after I snatch the pawn on d5? I'm gonna snatch that pawn on d5. Okay, now I guess Mr. Neal, do I want to force his? Let me go rook check and force him away from that c7 pawn for what it's worth. Okay, aha. Bishop to e5 from Borgnor, and that might just lead to a draw. Let's see what happens here. I have to take on h3. Okay, now against Mr. Neal, I go rook to d7. And how does this one look? I feel like he made a mistake there. I thought he had better than this. So now, what are his choices? Okay, queen c5 from Eternal Warrior, and does e4 just cement everybody in there? He gets this, he gets my a pawn, but I don't feel that worried about that, so I'm going to go e4 and cement everybody in there. And bishop takes d4 from Borgnor, and I think this one's just becoming a draw. Rook takes h7, and everybody goes. So, yep, and then I'll take on b7, and he takes on a2, and draw is absolutely normal result. So, it was a good game. I thought I was getting something, but pretty solid game from him there. And so I'm going to offer him a draw, and I think that should probably end it. Okay, let's see what Raster. Raster's a game where I'm defending. Let's see. I'm going to go king back to g1, and now I would like to go. I can't go up because my bishop would hang, so king g1, not much choice. Okay, let's see what's happening here with Eternal Warrior. He is going queen takes a3, and I'm going to go knight f5. I'm thinking about trying to mate him, and he's going to try to bother me with his rooks. Okay, Nejmedinov is... Okay, now, what to do here against Trivial Pursuit? Bishop takes e4 is almost certainly another draw. But I think that I have to do it. I think I have to just go bishop takes e4 and getting into a bishop opposite color is almost certainly a draw. I mean, I don't know why it's almost certainly. I think it's just a draw. Now, this is controversial from Raster. Rook takes... I don't know. This could be drawing chances for me here with his e-pawn. So that could be drawing chances. Ears is playing very solidly, and it's gonna be some kind of grinding game. I think that Trivial Pursuit is I'm up a pawn, but bishop opposite colors. I think a draw is a fair result there. Let me take my pawn back against Raster. I think I might have some drawing chances here. Mr. Neal, I think I'm winning easily now because I have all these pawns, and I'm going to take on g7 and have a lot of passed pawns coming down. Like I said a few minutes ago, I thought Mr. Neal had better kind of thing to do there. Now, I could play safe with Mr. Neal and take on b7, but I think I want to take on g7 and make a pass f-pawn. Okay, let's see what's happening here with Nejmadinov. He has gone, bishop is attacking my rook. I would like to go rook to d7, and I think I'm going to go rook to d7 and see where he puts his bishop. Okay, rook c1 trades from Eternal Warrior. I swap, then go king up, and let's see him here. My king on h3 looks pretty safe, and then I have to see if I could try to harass his pawns, maybe with queen a7 and stuff like that. And then he has to see if he could arrange some perpetual check somewhere. But my king looks like it'll be safe on h3. He's got some kind of b-file thing that he can maybe consider annoying me with. Okay, Ears has gone queen c4, and let's see. Let's see. Can I? If I offer him a trade, I'm going to offer Ears a trade of queens on c2. I think I'm still slightly better there if he trades the queens, and I should be the only one with winning chances. This is the kind of game Korchnoi or Yasser Serouan would grind somebody down and just win, and those guys have done it to a lot of people, I'm telling you. Okay, now, against Nejmadinov, can I play rook to c7? Trying to bottle him up, trying to get my rooks in there. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna try rook to c7, see if I could keep my rook running around there. Eternal Warrior, that's the move I expected, was him trying to go rook b2 to bother me. I'm going to put my king on h3. And then when he goes rook to b2, do I have some way to get in there? Is queen h1 going to bother me? All right, I'm gonna go king to h3 and get out of the way. Here comes Raster's king. I don't know. Raster might have gone in for a drawn position here. It might just be a drawn position. Okay, I'm going to take more pawns against Mr. Neal. We're trading queens in the Ears game. Let's see. We got Mr. Neal's going behind the pawn, and now what's the best pawn for me to push? I'm going to push my G pawn. Bishop e7 from Nejmadinov, and I'm looking to see if I can bother him with knight to c6. Okay, Mr. Neal is going for the 2-pound pawns. I'm going to continue to push my G pawn. All right, now, am I just up a piece against KM 1883? All right, now, Nejmadinov, I think I'm going to offer a trade of bishops on e5. It's always good to get rid of the bishop pair. Okay, Mr. Neal, I'm going to push some more. I'm going to push my G pawn some more. I better not lose it. Bishop G4 from Raster. I'm coming up with King E3. Can he unblockade me? All right, here comes Ears. I'm going to try Bishop to F5 on Ears just to see maybe I can harass him with a knight on F5, bother his pawns a little bit. Okay, F3 with KM. I'm not sure what that is. Is that... What's he up to here? I think I'm just going to take that pawn. I guess he figured he was going to lose it. He might as well get rid of it. Here comes Raster's king. I'm just going to hang out, and I want to see if he can make any progress. He's got the rook pawns the right color. Okay, now we got... Now, C3 from KM. And I'm just going to go pawn to B4. I'm not worried about his passed pawn there. And we're going to see what's happening here. So it feels like it's a fairly solid simul for me today. Some draws, I think one loss. And, okay, rook to C3 from KM. And I guess I'm going to go... Now, is rook to E... Is he really going to bother me with rook E2? I'm going to go king to F2. Nejmadinov has castled. And I'm going to go rook to E1. Try to take another pawn. KM has gone rook CD8. I'm going to go... Let's see. I'm thinking I should go bishop to E4. Ears has gone king E7. And now, do I want to go bishop takes d7? I'm going to try it and see. It's still slightly better for white. Bishop f5 from Nezhmadinov. And I'm going to go knight to c6. All right, now, am I harassing ears as pawns at all here if I go knight to f5 and knight to d6? His king's on f6. I go knight to d6. I'm not really sure that I'm harassing his pawns enough, so I'm going to bring my king over. h6 from Raster. I'm just going to hang out with my bishop. c2 from KM. I can't take that. I have to go rook to c1, but I still think I'm pretty happy here. His pawns are just terrible, so even if I had maybe if I even had one pawn left there, I would have winning chances. So I think that, you look at his pawns, the a7, the d6, the f7, the h7, and he only has one pawn at this moment, and all my pawns are pretty solid. So I think this looks like an easy win. Let's see what Nezhmadinov did. Nezhmadinov now, I guess I go knight to e7 check and take his bishop. g5 from Raster. Let's see. Do I want to take that pawn or leave it? I think I want to take it. So trading stuff is a nice thing for me there. So I'm just going to keep on trading, and I think he offered me a draw. I don't know, but if he still wants a draw, of course absolutely I will take it. And I think it's a draw. I think I just hang out. Okay, now, do I have a rook takes e4 back rank trick against Nezhmadinov winning another pawn? I think I do. So that's clear 2 pawns up. Looks pretty good for me. Okay, queen g5 from Eternal Warrior. And now he's trying to get me into some checks here. Now, so he could get a check on h5. And now, let's see, if he gets a check on h5, is that going to bother me a lot? I'm looking at bishop takes f7. And then queen to h7. Queen, is that any good for me? Snatch this h7 pawn. And then what happens? All right, I think I'm going to give that a try there. Bishop takes f7. That could be a nice pawn to have him. Okay, did he? I don't know. Did Raster offer me a draw? Yes, he did. I took it. It was a good game. Good solid game there. And I feel like Raster was up a pawn for nothing and had trouble unraveling. I think one mistake was letting me go f4. That gave me a chance, actually. Okay, now what do I want to do against KM? I'm not worried about KM's rooks bothering me. I'm thinking I should go rook to c7 and start to annoy him a little bit. Maybe gang up on f7. Nezhmadinov has gone rook on e to f8. I think I'll just go rook back to e2 and then come out slowly, and it's 2 pawns up. I think Nezhmadinov, he loves these unsound openings, but they keep getting him into trouble. I just got good development against him, and eventually it won his d5 pawn. But then after that, I don't know, maybe there was some other way for him to play that could have been a little bit better. So it looks like there's a lull in the action, as they say. Hey, the Yankees are doing pretty good so far. Okay, now Nezhmadinov has decided to threaten mate. I'm going to do rook to d7, getting another back rank thing just to control the files. And then I will give myself some air and come out slowly. Okay, king h8 for Eternal Warrior. Oh, well, the good thing about the bishop on f7 is that it's covering the h5 square too. So can I go let's see. I don't know. If I go queen, I'm going to go queen down to A7 and hit his rook and see if I could worm my way in there. Rook F8 from Nejmadinov, and now I'm just going to give myself some air and come out slowly, and I think that should do it. Okay, I'm still trying to figure out what to do to ears. Continuing to be slightly better in a drawn, probably a draw, but I want to see if I could. It's the kind of position, like I said, Yasser Serouan would have a good time with. Maybe I could rearrange my knight, get my king up to D4. Pressure is, maybe go for some position where he's tied up, some kind of zugzwang deal or something. Okay, let's see, where's he going? I'm going to go B3 and try and box him out. Okay, H6 from Nejmadinov. I'm just going to come up with my king. Knight C5 check for ears. I'll come over with king C3, see if I could get in after his pawns later. Okay, knight back to D7 from ears. Looks like a normal thing to do. And I'm going to see where should I go with my... I'm going to see if I could expand on the queen side a little bit. Okay, looks like KM has gone rook A4. And I think I'm going to go bishop to D5 and start to bother him and maybe take F7. And I think that should probably pretty much do it. Eternal Warrior, what's happening here? Is the king and pawn ending a win for me, or should I just go bishop to C4 and keep him tied up? He'll get one check on H5, right? I'm going to go bishop C4 and keep him tied up. Okay, I'm going to go F4. Nejmadinov threatening at some point to come down. Now, Ears is coming up with his knight, and I'm going to go pawn to H4. But it's still a very solid game here. I'm wondering what the king and pawn ending is. Okay, rook to C5 from Nejmadinov, and I'm just going to go pawn to C3, so I'm free to move my rook at some point. Knight E6 from Ears. And let's see. Now, H5 trying to mess up his pawns. What's the deal with that? Knight takes E6 and F4. I don't know. H5 maybe. All right, I'm gonna try. H5 he takes. Not so clear here. I'm gonna try king to D3. All right, H5 from Eternal Warrior. And now can I just, what's he, he's threatening queen to G4. I understand. And so I'm going to go bishop to E2 and stop that. Ears is gone, knight check again, and I'll go king C3, A5, and now I'm just going to go A3 against Nejmadinov. And trade all the stuff against KM. And let's see what to do with Ears. I'm gonna go knight, drop back my knight to E2, try and use my king there. And I think against KM, I'm gonna snatch on F7 with check, and then take A7, and then I'm up a full piece. The last few simuls, my endgame technique was really bad. I don't know what was going on, to tell you the truth. Okay, Nejmadinov is sacking a pawn to get some activity. What's going on here with Eternal Warrior? H4. What's this about? If I go knight takes H4, what's the story there? Okay, knight takes H4 looks okay for me to do. Ears has moved his king back, and now I'm looking to see, can I go F4? Or maybe, I don't know, let's say I go F4. Is his knight coming over to bother me? I'm going to try F4 and see if I could do something on the side. Okay, Nejmadinov, I'm going to go pawn takes pawn. Now I'm up 3 pawns. They are doubled, but but we'll see. And also, I could maybe tie him down a little bit. Where will he go now? Rook c4. I'll go rook to b7, and then I have to just get my pawns going. So it should be a lot of chess this summer. Like I said to you guys, come and visit me. Come and visit me in Chicago in my little room there. I'll be doing commentary and a couple of lectures. That's at Chicago Open. Goichberg does one of the biggest tournaments of the year. It's not really in Chicago. It's in some Westin hotel in Wheeling. It's really a nice hotel. There's some nice restaurants nearby. It's not a bad tournament at all. And then we'll see. World Open is in July. I think it's in Philadelphia this year again. Okay, let's see. So Nejmadinov has gone rook to g8, and I'm going to bother him for a trade of rooks. Okay, a5 from Eternal Warrior, and how do I do something nice to him here? I'm looking at Queen e7. Let's see. I can go knight back to f5. Maybe try and win that pawn. He doesn't have any checks. I'm gonna try knight to f5 and just to take that pawn. Okay, Ears has gone king to d6, and now let's see. I'm gonna try knight to g3, and okay, a trade of rooks from Nejmadinov. And now let's see. Will that help me? I hope. I mean, I had a really weird rook ending against Zebile that you guys could look up. I couldn't believe it. I'm up 2 pawns with an H pawn and a G pawn, and he was just harassing me so much I couldn't figure out how to win it. I don't know whether Zebile created some kind of new position or not. It was really kind of weird. Okay, so what's Nejmadinov going to do here? I think my next job is to start pushing my king side pawns up, maybe make some threats against his king. Pawn to a4 from Eternal Warrior. What keeps me from taking that pawn? I think after I get rid of that pawn, it should be pretty easy. So queen takes a4. I'll take the pawn. Nejmadinov's going to get some checks. He might win that pawn back on b2, but I think I'm pretty happy about what's going on here. I think I'll just push on him. And as long as it's not a Zebile situation with some miracle draw. So the hard game was the game against Moving Dutchman. So I didn't. Usually in the simul's I get into time pressure because I talk so much, but talking about current events and all kinds of things like that. So let's see what's going on against Nejmadinov. He goes rook takes. I go f5, which will force his king to the back rank. And then probably push my pawns maybe up to g5, make some threats. Okay, let me see. Ears, I'm going to go h5. Okay, Nejmadinov, I'm going to go f5 and threaten f6. Ears has traded knights, and we got to see what is going on here. So now let's see what this is about. I go pawn takes pawn, king d4. I mean, I think maybe I'm just winning now, or unless he's got some kind of thing. Let's see. I'm going to go pawn takes pawn and king to d4, and then I think it's winning for me now. All right. Now, what's going on against Eternal Warrior? In this game, I could probably even trade queens and win pretty easily. His queen is not bothering me. I think I'm going to go queen to c6 and keep him tied down to his f-pawn. Okay, Ears, I have 2 connected pass pawns now. Let's see, how do I want to do this against Nejmadinov? I'm going to start pushing my pawns up. King takes. I thought Ears was playing pretty solidly until that happened. And Ears, it was a very solid game. I mean, white's better there. I think I did the right thing on the king side, trying to get my pawn to h5, maybe to make a pass pawn, maybe to weaken your pawns a little bit. But it was a very tough game, so not bad. Okay, here we go. Rook h3 from Nezhmadinov, king up. I have a feeling in the Nezhmadinov, maybe I can do is maybe I could sack my f pawn to keep his king stuck on the back rank, and then just push the b pawn up. All right, now, do I want to play g5 here? Probably I do, because I might be able to go g6 and get some mate threats like that also. Also, my king is very nice if it gets to g6. I'm doing a charity event tomorrow. I don't know, you guys. For people in New York, you could see it's on the east side in a synagogue. It's a chess against cancer, sponsored by a friend of mine, and it's a very worthy cause, and I'm glad to be doing it. So, if people are in New York, they could or near New York, they should check that out. Pretty nice event. I'm going to be playing Blitz with some other GMs. There's going to be simuls. I think there's going to be some quads and whatnot. Some GMs that we haven't seen in a long time are going to be there. Lev Albert, Pascal Charbonneau. So if you're in the New York area, you might want to check it out. I think it goes from something like I think it goes from like 11 till maybe noon till 5, something like that. So should be a lot of fun, and for a good cause. All right, now my king is moseying on in there, and I mean, the best thing, Nezhmadinov plays pretty well, but he always spots me a nice opening, and then it's hard to recover. I think the Latvian gambit. I understand some people like this, the style, but I think Nezhmadinov is a pretty good player and would do better if he just played a regular opening. Okay, now let's see what's happening here. I want to go king to g6 at the right moment. His king's stuck to the back rank. I don't know if he got king g6 in and I played f6. I think that should still, yeah. My king is just too safe now. I can protect my king with my pawns, and that should be over. I don't know if I didn't have a b pawn, would this be a win? It might be a win even without the pawn on b4. Okay, rook check, king g6, threatening mate, threatening to take the pawn. I think that should probably about do it, right? I don't think there's there's no miracles here. After the Zebal game, I'm always on the lookout in rook endings. Rook endings are always the best chances to draw when you're down a pawn. Sometimes the best things to get everything on the same side, and then we see what the draw is. I don't know if this is the last game, but one loss, not too bad. Okay, what's happening with Nezhmadinov here? Now I think I just go rook check and then take on g7. Want to thank everybody for playing. Simul's been going for about 2 hours and 20 minutes. I guess normal length of the simul probably it's about right, 2.5 hours. So I'll see everybody in June. Also, want to thank Sandro for he always takes good care of us, and I do the Castle Chess Camp, which is a very nice chess camp at Emory. At Emory in Atlanta. I don't know if there's still spots open, but you could check. That's a nice chess camp, and I hope to see everybody in the summer. And I don't know, maybe hopefully the ICC will cover a few tournaments, and I'll, see you guys there too. So, and rook to G1 check, and I guess I just go pawn to G6, keep my king safe, make sure I don't have an accident. And F6 is coming, followed by F7. That should win a rook. So moving Dutchman, I think that's moving Dutchman was my only loss. So one loss in the simul, pretty good. Better than the last couple of months. I had some. I really wasn't happy about those results. It reminds me of some simul that Andy Soltis wrote about in the New York Post once, and Nejmadinov lost on time, and it was going to be GF6 and whatnot, making queens anyway. So let me see. Is there anything left? Ears said thank you Ears, for playing. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a hard position, that one. Let's see. Eternal Warrior resigned. That's where I got the 2 pieces for rook. I thought in the middle game that he had better chances there. Let's see what happened here. KM 1883 resigned. I was going to take all of his pawns, and all I need is 1 pawn left to have an easy win. Raster won a pawn for nothing early on with rook A5. Probably should have gotten better winning chances than he did, but it was a tough defense. Mr. Neal, really confusing game. Could have handled the unbalanced pawn pushing business a little better, but also a very exciting game. Trivial Pursuit was the same as King's Indian. I don't know. In the opening, I played on both sides. Probably wasn't the right thing to do, but a solid game for both sides. Borg-Norger, another solid game. Maybe White was a little better, but never anymore. And Jimmy B said, I don't know, Jimmy B wasn't really lackluster. It was just a normal kind of game. Locked position, Queen's Indian, normal kind of thing. Havaniola, very tricky game, and then he just blundered. I don't know what happened to him there. And Brian Wood dropped it. Brian Wood played a solid opening, but then went astray. Let's see. Hayen, I think his opening, he's another guy that sometimes plays an opening that gets him into trouble, so he's got to do that better. Kanishka, also another opening, on unsound Philidor stuff with the pushing on the king's side. And Shamex, I thought he needed to play the opening better in the King's Indian. There was, he fooled around a little bit too much and never got any active play. Pascalino, if he doesn't let my queen get into E6 like he did, maybe, I don't know, his king stays on G7. I don't know. I mean, 3 pieces and, 2 rooks, a rook and 2 pieces for a queen. If I don't mate him, that would be something. And also, Maj misplayed the opening too in an 8-3 Queen's Indian. Let's see. 9-6 T, another unsound opening, and Jester didn't pay attention and lost a piece. And no mercy for you. I don't know what happened in that game. I mean, after Bishop takes C5, he resigned, but he didn't have to resign. He was going to be down a pawn, and it was going to be a grind. So, not too bad. 1 loss and 4 draws and 15 wins. Pretty decent simuls go. So thanks everybody. I really appreciated everybody playing. See everybody next month. Enjoy the coverage of the chess, and that's it. Take care, Ears. Bye everybody. Thank you, Sandro, and see you next month. Take care. Bye everybody.